Hi, I'm Ashley Martin and I'm here with Kaylee. She's going to tell us a little bit about her business that she owns.
Awesome. Hi. All right. My name is Kaylee Schottner, and I run Kaylee Wonders, which is a lifestyle blog, and I also do coaching and social media management services for creative entrepreneurs and bloggers. And basically, I make their web presences into profitable areas on the web.
When you're helping people transition, do you have a sense that your clients are aware of the competition and the other blogs that are out there, or not so much?
Yes, I think they're sometimes overly aware of the competition and all of the people that they're up against. I think that in our industry, because in blogging it's like such a creative field and you subscribe to so many newsletters and quarterly magazines, and you think oh my gosh, these people are doing these things that I have to be doing. But when they take a step back and realize that you can collaborate with those people and they're not necessarily your competition, it becomes a lot better, and then your work comes about more organically.
Do you feel that they put more energy into developing their own businesses?
Yes and no. I feel like they want their businesses to succeed more, and I feel like that pressure is there, but it's kind of a negative energy, and it often leads to them doing something that doesn't come natural to them, that's not organic, that, comes about in a very forced way. And when they take a step back and, unsubscribe from those newsletters and things I mentioned, they allow themselves to grow and their own work to come about, and, it's more original. So people are more likely to buy from them.
So is that something that you kind of push for them to take a step back from the competition?
Yeah, I always tell them when they're stuck in that rut, okay, you're going to go through your inbox now to unsubscribe from at least 3 of those newsletters, because often when you see people in your field doing something, you think, why am I not doing that? Well, if you're not doing it already, or it's not even on your radar, chances are you're not meant to be doing it.
Guiding them through that initial change, do you feel like you're consistently giving them new resources and information to move the change along more quickly?
Absolutely, yeah. Each of my consults goes through a questionnaire process that they have to do. So I have them fill out everything. I learn more about them. We dig into who their dream client is, who their dream collaborators are, everything like that. And once we get that down, it comes about, like I said, very organically, and it's a lot less forced.
And then what do you do to kind of motivate and inspire your clients to be more organic in their development?
Yeah, I think that as far as inspiration goes, it's a lot of me checking in, weekly emails, maybe a weekly phone call. It really depends on the client and what they can afford, of course, but I always do try to follow up and motivate them, let them know that what they're doing, belongs in the world, what they're passionate about can actually make a profit, because a lot of the time, I've had clients come to me and they think, oh my gosh, I love crafting or this or that, and I don't know how that will ever make me, any money, let alone the money I need to, pay my rent and all my bills, and I just definitely reinforce that.
And do you find yourself with clients trying to maintain a constant approach to developing their new businesses, or does it vary on the client?
I think it definitely varies on the client. Like I said, I work with both creative entrepreneurs and bloggers. Bloggers, it's a bit more, they stick to a pretty rigid structure. What I recommend to one, I recommend often all, because even though their, niches may vary, they all have to follow a very similar path, where with entrepreneurs, like I said, one can be a crafting, expert on Etsy, and one can be a health coach, and then another can, do something similar like I do, like business coaching, and they all need to follow very different paths and find their clients in different ways, so it does vary a lot.
Doing this change for your clients, do you generally have an idea of what the whole vision is going to be, or does that change along the way?
Definitely changes along the way. I cannot tell you how many clients I've worked with in the past that have come in really psyched about doing one thing, and then we start to uncover, like I mentioned before, their dream client, their dream collaborators, what they really want to do, what makes them excited to wake up, and, has the potential to inspire them rather than just make them money. And once you break that mindset, you'll notice, oh my gosh, this woman thinks she's cut out to do this, but she would be so much happier doing something like this, or tweaking her idea a little bit. So it definitely evolves.
So when you first kind of break through that wall that you have to get to see their ultimate goal, Do you feel like their business plan is always desirable and achievable?
I think anything's achievable. A lot of people need to tweak their mindset. Because like I said, the competition's always in the back of their mind, and that's a really reoccurring thing I see. But once they get past that and realize that like what they're doing matters, it's incredible to see like the changes that will be made.
In that communication, does it feel like it's kind of heartfelt, or do you just try to keep it more like professional?
I keep it heartfelt, and I think that's something that like really resonates with a lot of other creative entrepreneurs. I personally worked with like a corporate marketing company before this happened, and it was so technical and, corporate, and that's just not me. I love to be creative and passionate about what I do, and I love to infuse others' businesses, with that same passion and creativity. So I definitely would say not for me.
And then how often do you discuss like the visions and the goals with the clients? I know you said that it tweaks along the way, but how often do you have to push them for those changes?
I mean, say they order, 5 calls with me or, a month worth of calls, we will discuss it at every call to make sure they're on track, because so often, like I mentioned in your previous questions, it's so easy for them to see, okay, this woman or this man, whoever, is making so much money doing this. Maybe I should tweak that because it's similar to what I do, and I would just have to make, a few different tweaks to have a similar product. And you kind of have to re-guide them and say, no, what you're doing, can make just as much, if not more. You just have to stay on track and, do what you're passionate about, because my business is all about turning their passions into profits.
In the process, how often are they themselves proposing new ideas and new concepts to implement?
They usually come to the call, depending on what the purpose is, with maybe 3. But I think that, like I said earlier, it really evolves with our conversation and comes about more organically. So I'll kind of guide them where I think their business will thrive most and where they'll be happiest. But it's an ever-evolving process for sure.
Now, when you are kind of guiding ideas that you think will be more successful and make them happier during the final product, do you feel like your clients' confidence in their new business is starting to build?
Yes. The more I inspire them and the more I tell them that they can do it, the more excited they become about their business. Often you'll see their profits climb. I actually worked with a client a couple months ago, and she works in the art industry, and basically we talked about like what she's doing. I reinforced for her, why what she's doing matters, and she all of a sudden put in like this whole newfound energy into her business, and she doubled her profits within the 30 days. So I mean, it's definitely, once you become confident in what you're doing, like plausible to see that type of increase.
Now, during the transition period, are there kind of quick results that can be visible, like to customers or other viewers of the blogs?
Yes. And I say that it's very different in my industry because it is, primarily online. So it's, it's not like a brick and mortar business where they're going to have to tweak more to see those results. Online, you can put it out there, 10 minutes after we get off if it's a minor tweak, and start seeing those results in as little as, 10 minutes or 24 hours, whatever it is. So it's definitely more of like instant gratification in the industry.
And then how often do your clients kind of celebrate those little small wins as the transition goes on?
They might not celebrate them often at all. And, some of them will think that they can't celebrate until they have their first, 5K month or something, really big that's achievable, but not right away. You're not going to have a 5K month your first month in business. Often it takes a long time to get to that. And I think that's where I come in, is kind of inspiring them and motivating them and, telling them, hey, you have, 10 new subscribers on your email list. That's awesome. That's 10 new people that have their eyes on your business. Go out and celebrate. And that's often just them, going out and celebrating with a girlfriend, or going out and getting a drink, or something very simple, but recognizing that their hard work is getting them to their desired place.
How often do you see new projects, during the transition, are making, big, significant changes?
Once again, it kind of depends on the length of time I'm working with someone, but if they're really, really into it, those significant changes will come about, within days sometimes. Sometimes it takes a year. It really depends on what those changes are and how significant they are in their business. If they're making a minor tweak, for instance, on their blog, it can take, like I said, a day. But if they're trying to target a whole new clientele, get this, brand new product out that takes 7 months in creation, it obviously won't come about as quickly.
Right. So with these significant changes, do you feel like sometimes like your clients are trying to push for those big changes to kind of make the impact that they're looking for to reach that 5K month?
Yeah, definitely. They're always pushing, bigger, better. And I think it's up to me to kind of show them that the little things count just as much as big things. And once you get those little things down, the big things will come about so much better, so much more organically. You'll put in the time and effort they need, and that 5K month or, whatever they're desiring will just come about so much easier. And their target clients, they know, if they were to put out an e-course or something like that and then go through it and they said, wow, this was very thrown together quickly, like I'm going to go to, her competition for that. But if they were to put in the 8 months or so of production work that it needed and then do some minor tweaks to help find those target clients, they do so much better.
Do you feel like your clients throughout the process are kind of learning from you what they need to do to continue being successful?
Absolutely. And it really matters what you apply, because I can reiterate everything, 1,000 times on every call. I can say the same 5 motivating things, but unless they work on it and apply it into their life, it won't just magically appear. So it's really being an entrepreneur and being a blogger, whatever your business is, it's so important that you are a self-motivator, because especially like when you work from home because you can't afford office space that first year or whatever it may be, there isn't going to be necessarily someone sitting next to you motivating you like it would be in, a more traditional atmosphere.
Okay, well, perfect. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me.
No.
After conducting my interview with Kaylee yesterday, and analyzing some of her answers from the book that we read earlier in the semester, the Leadership Challenge book, I realized that she really exemplifies commitments number 5 and 8. Specifically focusing on number 5 for a minute, Kaylee works to inspire her clients to really develop their blogs and their products to intrigue the consumers. She wants them to kind of disconnect from the competition and to develop their own products. So they're putting exactly what they want into their product and what they want the consumers to see. And it's not something because the competition's influencing them. She also is a part of the commitment number 8 because she works to encourage her clients. She really wants them to celebrate those little wins because, like she said in her interview, they really want those 5K months, but those aren't realistic at the beginning. So when they have 10 new people look at their site and someone actually purchases something, that's a really small win, but it's something that should be celebrated because that means that they're starting to market to the right people. And she really exemplifies a good leader who will help you during that transition period because she encourages you and she keeps you inspired to keep moving forward. I know personally that if I was working in the entrepreneurial world, I would want someone like Kaylee who's going to work with me to really keep me motivated and to keep moving forward because that's something that can be difficult, especially if you feel like you're not making as much progress as you'd like. And I think that she really exemplifies a great leader.